So, and the next part of our unit is this one. We will talk about forms of plural of nouns. How to say these nouns in form of plural. This rule is a little tricky. It's not like in English. Usually we just need to add the letter S, usually. And so automatically we will see the form of plural, like book, books, girl, girls, and so on. In Russian, this rule is a little more difficult. So, and now I'd like to tell you about this grammar. So, the form of the plural of this noun depend actually on the last letter. It depends on gender, but let's make it simple. We will say that this form depends on the last letter. So, for example, if you see the last letter consonant, you need to add the letter I, and you will have the form of plural. For example, singular, this word plus I, and we will have forms of plural. Let's look at some examples. Стол, столы, диван, диваны, кот, коты, кот, коты. You see, sometimes we need to change place of accent, stress in these words. If you see forms of plural, sometimes the last letter, I mean this ending I, should be stressed, like стол, столы, кот, коты. There is no special rule when should we change the vowel which is stressed. So the more you speak, the more you learn new words, the easier you can memorize new words. And also not only forms of singular, but forms of plural too. So стол, the last letter is consonant L. We just need to add I. Столы, table, tables. You see the translation in brackets. Диван, the last letter is consonant N. You just need to add I. Диван, диваны. Кот, коты. So every consonant plus the letter I, and you will have form of plural. Of course, we have some exceptions, and we will talk about them a little later, but this is the main rule. So we continue. If you see the letter A, this letter should be replaced with I. I. It works for feminine nouns, singular and plural. For example, лампа in plural will sound like лампы, лампы. Машина, машина, машины, машины. Школа, школа, школы, школы. If you see the last letter A, mostly it's for nouns which are feminine, and also for our exceptions which are masculine, like papa, дедушка. Anyway, A should be replaced with I. Лампа, лампы, машина, машины, школа, школы. So, we continue. The letter Ya should be replaced with I. The letter Ya shows us that this is a soft base, like soft stem. And all these nouns will have the letter I in ending. If we are talking about nouns, like now, or if we are talking about adjectives, for example, we will talk about this grammar a little later in our course. Just want to make you understand the logic. The letter Ya shows us that this base of word, this stem, is soft, and that's why we need to add I. It works for every word. So, for example, песня, песня. You see the last letter is я, н is soft, it's a soft base. That's why in form of plural we need to add и. Песни, песни, not песны, right? Because of the letter я, we need to say и. Песня, песни. Next word, тетя, тетя. Again, you see the last letter is я and т, the consonant before the vowel т is soft, soft. That's why we need to add и. It will sound like тети, not теты, right? Тети, т is soft because of the letter я, because of soft base, soft stem. Семья, семья. Семья in form of plural will sound like семьи, семьи. Here, be careful please, we need to change place of accent, place of stress. So, in form of plural, е will be stressed. Семьи, семьи. So, that's it. We continue. Next part. Now we will start to talk about nouns which are neutral. Neutral. For example, they have the last letter O, and O should be replaced with A. Again with A. So, окно will sound like окна. Окна. Be careful please, here again we need to change place of accent, place of stress. Окно. In form of singular, the last letter O is stressed. In form of plural, окна. Окна. The last vowel is not stressed. The first vowel is stressed. Окна. Окна. And we need to memorize these forms. As I already told you, unfortunately, we don't have any rule, so how can we describe this process, or how can we explain why should we change place of accent for some words if we're talking about this topic, singular and the plural of nouns. So, one more example, письмо, письмо, in plural, письма, письма. Again, first vowel should be stressed. We change place of accent, place of stress. Письмо, письма, письмо, письма. So, the letter O should be replaced with A. And one more part, the letter E. Again, we're talking about neutral, as you can understand, I hope. E shows us that this base is soft, and that's why you need to add я. So, let's look at these examples. Поле, поля, поле, поля. You see, поле, L is soft because of E. Поля, поля, L is soft again. So, for soft base, we need to use this letter. Море, моря, море, моря. R is soft in both of forms, I mean singular and plural. So, we continue, and let's talk about some exceptions. If you see these letters, for example, the letter K, G, H, Ж, Ш, Ч, and Щ, these letters only plus the ending I. It's one of the most important rules of Russian spelling. After these letters, we can never use I. It should be only I. Even though that these letters are consonants, and according to our main rule, we need to add I if we're talking about the form of plural. But it's not like this. These letters are exceptions. Let's look at some examples, singular and plural. Книга, ручка, нож. You see the last consonant of this base before the last vowel, before the ending, that should be replaced with I or I, for example. The last letters are G in the word книга, книга. The letter K in word ручка, ручка. And the letter Ж, Ж in this word нож, нож. So the last consonants are G, K and Ž. That's why we need to add ending I if we want to say these words in the form of plural. It will be книги, not книги. We need to say according to this rule, right? Consonant plus I. But these letters are exceptions. That's why you will say книги, книги. G, the sound will be soft. G, книги. Ручки, not ручки, ручки. And ножи, ножи. So, it's extremely important when you want to write something because it's more about spelling than about pronunciation. For example, ножи, it will sound the same if you add I or I. Ножи, I told you, J is always hard. But if you need to write something, write these words. Please don't forget these 7 letters, 7 consonants, only plus I. We can never say I here. And let's make like a summary. Let's look at this grammar table. Here you can see the whole information about this part of grammar, how to say nouns in the form of plural. So I told you it somehow depends on gender of noun, but mostly it depends on the last letter. So let's talk about this part of our table. If it's masculine, the last letter is consonant. You just need to add ending I. Стол, столы. If it's feminine and the last letter is A, like лампа, the last letter should be replaced with I. I mean, you need to delete it and add I again. Лампа, лампы. Лампа, лампы. The next part, these nouns will have the ending I. Музей, музей. The last consonant is soft, soft. I told you, that's why we need to use I instead of I. You delete the last letter. Кратко, you delete it and you use ending I. Музеи, музеи. I told you, Y is always soft. That's why we cannot use ending I here. It should be I. Delete the last letter and add ending I. Музеи. And again, soft stem, песня, песня. If you see the last letter is я, and the consonant before it, н, for example, is soft. For soft base, we always add I. Песня in the plural is песни, not песны, because н is soft. Песни. Let's talk about forms of neutral. So, окно, O should be replaced with A. Окна, окна. Don't forget to change place of accent, place of stress. Окна. And море, моря. Море, моря. The letter E again shows us that this stem, this base is soft. Р, море. And that's why we need to add ending я. Моря. That's it. For neutral, O should be replaced with A and E should be replaced with Ya. That's it. These are 4 main endings for forms of the plural. That's it. And I just want to remind you the main thing. First, you need to look at the last letter. And depending on the last letter, you need to choose correct ending. So you see, the whole rule is here. And I hope it's not that much difficult to understand the logic. So, of course, we have some exceptions, like in every rule. Let's talk about these forms, singular and plural. First word is город. In the plural, it will sound like города. Города. Why is this word exception? We look at the last letter. The last letter is consonant D, And we should think that we just need to add «y». It will be «городы». But it's not like this. It's an exception. That's why we need to memorize this form. Город – города. Города. Дом – дома. Дом – дома. Not домы, according to the main rule. The last letter will be «а». Дома. Дома. And the last letter will be stressed. Дома means houses. Next word, glass, in the plural is глаза. Глаза. Again, the last letter is accented. Not глазы. Глаза. Глаза. Человек. Человек. Человек will sound like люди, like person and people. The logic is like in English language, we need to change the whole word. We don't say it in another way. So, человек, люди, like person and people. Человек, люди. Брат, братья. Брат, братья. It's not браты, like it should be for in other words. The last letter is consonant T, but we don't need to add «y». It will be братья. Братья. Next word is сестра. Сестры. Сестры. Instead of «е», we should say «ё», and place of accent should be changed automatically. Сестры. Сестры. Друг. Друзья. Друг, друзья. Let's memorize this word. I think we are going to use it very often. If we're talking about your friends, we are going to use these words in our speaking. So, друг, друзья. And the last letter, ребенок, дети. Ребенок, дети. This word is an exception in English language too. Child and children. We don't say childs, right? So this word in Russian language is an exception too. Ребенок, ребенок, дети. So let's try to memorize these words, and I will read them once again. I'm in forms of plural. Города, дома, глаза, люди, братья, сестры, друзья, дети. That's it. So, let's check yourself. Let's try to make like a summary of this part of our grammar. So you have two parts, singular and plural. You have pictures. I hope that you didn't forget the meaning of these words. Let's try to make up forms of plural. So what is this? It's a lamp, lampa, lampa. In plural will sound like лампы, лампы, lampa, лампы. Next word, look please at these pictures. What is this? It's table, stол, stол. In the form of plural, столы, столы, столы. It's not an exception, just we need to change place of accent, place of stress. The last letter should be stressed. And what is this? Try to guess. It's a museum. In Russian, музей. Музей. And in plural, музеи. Музеи. The last letter is soft, y. That's why you need to add и. Музеи. Музеи. Лампы, столы, музеи. So, that's it. Some other examples. So, what is this? It's a window. In Russian, it's окно. Окно. How to say it in the plural? Окна. Окна. You already know. The last letter O should be replaced with A. Окна. Окна. It will sound like this. So, человек. Человек. Люди. You see, these words are red. Why? Because these words are exceptions. We don't say человеки, right? Человек, люди, люди. If you want to say person, people, человек, люди. And one more exception, ребенок, дети. Ребенок, дети. We do not say ребенки, ребенки, and so on, right? Ребенок, дети. So these words are exceptions. I hope you didn't forget it. So this is the main rule, how to say the plural of nouns, and I hope during working on grammar you could memorize some words. So we're working on vocabulary too, because some of these words we are going to use in the next parts of our course. Some words you can use in your everyday speaking, for example.